destination. You see, when you were on your way to the top over here, you were excited about getting to the top of the bike. Then, you're just filled with anticipation. You're looking forward to getting to the top so you can see the view, so you can get your gift. And, you're like a little kid, the day before Christmas. You just know that, at 12 o'clock at midnight, you're going to be able to open your gifts, right? You're just so excited to see what's at the top of the mountain. So, we're hiking and we're going and we're going. And, we get to the top. We're almost there. We get to the top and you're tired and you're like, man, this was worth it. This was worth it. I'm so tired, but I can't believe that we made it to the top. This feels so amazing. And, we finally get to the top and, the view is gorgeous. Everything is just so breathtaking, honestly. And you're sitting there and you could tell that you're like looking around like, all right, like, where's my gift and where's my surprise? And, I'm just standing there quietly, just kind of enjoying the view, being present in the moment. And you ask me like, hey, hey, Nano, like, where's my surprise? We made it to the top. And I'm like, this is your surprise, right? And you're like, what, the view? And I'm like, yeah, the view is your surprise, but, just being here right now is your surprise, right? And you're like, are you serious? And I'm like, no, I'm just kidding. That right there on the floor is your surprise. Look to the bottom right of your foot. And I point at a rock. Okay, but there's something to the story. Stay with me here. I point at a rock. That's your surprise. And you're like, are you joking right now? Like, you telling me you made me wake up at 5 a.m. and hike 2 hours to the top of this mountain for you to give me a rock as a gift? You're pissed off at this moment. You can't believe that I just did this to you. You're like you're livid. You're like, I can't believe you would do this to me. Like, what kind of joke is this? Like, I'm over here telling you to mentor me, to guide me. I'm telling you how I'm struggling with life. And you want to bring me to the top of this mountain to give me a rock? What kind of mentor are you? Those were your exact words to me. And then I teach you one of the most important lessons in your whole entire life. I want you guys to write this down if you're listening to this, okay? I said, relax. Here's the lesson. Here's the gift. Understand this. The journey is what brings us happiness, not the destination. I'm going to repeat that one more time. The journey is what brings us happiness, not the destination. You see, you're happy, excited. You couldn't wait to get here. You were the mountain on the way here. You were so happy on your way to this incredible view right here. So you got here and you noticed that it wasn't what it was supposed to be, and now you're not happy. You see, the thing is that you got to understand that this relates with your life and what you're going through right now. Yes, you're struggling in life. Yes, things might not be the way you want them to. But remember, it's the journey that brings happiness, not the destination. You should be waking up every day happy that you're going through challenges. You should be happy that you're struggling and that things are not going the way that you want them to. You know why? Because this is what's going to make you better. This is what's going to make you the person that you've been asking to be. You understand that anyone that asks for anything, they must be challenged so that they can become the person that is deserving of receiving what they ask for. And the only way you can do that is by growing. But how can you grow? By being challenged. Remember, guys, without a challenge, you can't grow. So you got to find happiness every day in the day-to-day work that you got to do. You got to find happiness in the struggles. You got to find happiness in the lessons. You got to find happiness in the criticism that you're going to get from your family and friends. Don't allow yourself to be brought down by the journey. Because if you're waiting to get to the destination to be happy, then you'll never be happy. What if you never get there? A lot of people, I hear them say, hey, I'll be happy when I make $1 million. I'll be happy when I get to the top. No, you got to be happy now in order for you to attract the top, in order for you to attract the 7 figures. Okay, family? So that was one of the biggest lessons I learned from a warrior, is that, A warrior understands that the journey is what brings us happiness, not the destination, guys. So I want you guys to remember that. Let that sink deep into your mind. It's probably one of the most valuable lessons that you will ever learn in life. I can guarantee you that. Because too many people are looking for happiness outward. Remember, happiness comes within. You have to be happy with the journey that you're on if you want to get to where you want to go. Because understand the feeling is the secret. What we want vibrates at a high level. Being sad, being depressed, being stressed out, okay? You got to understand that's low vibration, okay? And you will not attract a high vibrational thing or desire that you're looking for vibrating at a low level, okay? Being happy is high vibration. Being excited is high vibration, okay? Having high expectation for something and anticipating that you're going to get something, that's high vibration, right? So when you were on your way up the mountain, you were vibrating high. That's how you get to the top. You notice how you got to the top? Because you were vibrating high. Now, if you were vibrating low, you would have never got to the top because you would have been stressed. You would have been tired. You would have been like, man, I don't think I could do this. You would have doubted yourself. You wouldn't have cared if there was even anything at the top of it. That's why finding happiness in the journey is the most important thing. Remember it. Don't forget it. The journey is what brings us happiness, not the destination. And that's the first realization that every single warrior has in life. Okay. Now, what is the second realization that every warrior has? Second one is that you're not going to know how to get there. You just go. Understand, family, you're not going to know how you're going to get to where you want to go to, right? You want to make $1 million. You're not going to know how you're going to get there. You want to become a top sales rep in your business. You're not going to know how to get there. Okay. But you just got to go. You just got to start climbing. All right. One step at a time. Right. Right. If we were in front of that mountain right now, we don't know how we're going to get to the top, but we just got to do what? Take one step at a time. And as we go, we figure it out. Okay. Because most people, right, they stand at the bottom of the mountain, and because they don't know how they're going to get to the top, they just don't even try. And that's the worst thing that you can do as a business owner, as an entrepreneur. You got to go out there and just do it. That business opportunity you want to.
All right, let's get started with today's call. I am so excited to get today's call started. Welcome, 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 familia. Happy Monday. Happy June. It is so good to be back after a great weekend, after a great birthday weekend. I'm also so blessed and grateful. Thank you, thank you, thank you, guys. Honestly, I am overwhelmed with so much gratitude because of all the love, the gratitude, the messages. I'm literally gonna sit down today and maybe I'm gonna have to take at least an hour or probably more to get back to so many messages. It was just so amazing to be able to receive all the love that I did. I think this birthday probably was the one that topped them all. I don't know what it was about this birthday. I guess 31 was the one that people were waiting for, and bro, it was just amazing to receive all the love. So if you sent me a message, you posted it, you restoried something, commented on anything, guys, I just want you guys to know that I am extremely grateful for all the love. Truly, it's been absolutely amazing to receive all the love, and it just goes to show, when it's your birthday, how much people love you. People that I haven't talked to in years, the people that I didn't talk to in years, just wishing me happy birthday, sending me beautiful messages, telling me how proud they are of my growth. And it just felt good to receive it all, so I receive it all with open hands, and I'm extremely blessed and grateful. And the birthday festivities are over, even though it is my birthday all month. Did you finish the steak? Yeah, no, the steak was unbelievable. Yeah, I finished it, trust me. But I was so full after. I could barely eat my dessert because we ate so much. But it was incredible, though. It was the food, everything, the people, the surprises, the gifts, all of it was absolutely amazing, guys. And I wanted to come in here right away and, give you guys a phenomenal training to start off, the month. Obviously, it's a new month, and June is such an intentional month for all of us, as we all know, right? June is one of those months is we're reaching the halfway point, right? Because at the end of June is the official end of the first half of the year, right? June 30th will be the first half of the year. That's it, it's gone. So 6 months will be gone after this. And for me, it was always such a kind of like bittersweet for me because it was almost like, yo, look at how fast 6 months fly. I want you guys to actually realize this. Like, look at how fast 6 months just go. But it also makes you realize, and it almost puts like a pep in your step because it also reminds you, if these first 6 months went fast, imagine how fast the next 6 months are gonna go. So it almost makes you move with a sense of urgency now. Does anybody feel that sense of urgency? Put a 2 in the chat if you kind of feel that right now, where it's almost like, yo, Nano, it's June. Like I gotta get to work. Like I have a lot of work to catch up to. I got goals I gotta hit. I got things I want to do. I got places I want to travel to. I have promotions I want to hit. I have money I gotta make. Like it's almost like you naturally, once June hits, it's almost like boom, a sense of urgency. And I was thinking about a topic to talk about today, and it was beautiful because one of my business partners, J.A., well, he posted something about deep work. And I had this training that I had done in the past that it was about deep work versus shallow work. And summers are the perfect time for you to do your deep work. This is one of the best times to do deep work because the summers are the seasons for growth. A couple calls ago, I talked about the seasons. If I'm not mistaken, I think it was last week. I talked about what each season is and what each season signifies, right? We talked about winters being the seasons of challenges, but also being the seasons of, where things start to figure itself out. They're very foundational. You're being challenged, you're being tested, but it's also a great month as well, right? We talked about the spring being the seasons of opportunity, planting the seeds, making sure that you put yourself in a position to grow and put your foundation in place. And then we talked about the summer. And we talked about how the summer is the season of growth and also the season of protection. Because now everything that you planted in March, April, June type of thing, sorry, March, April, May, everything that you planted now is going to grow now in June, July, August, going into September. So we got to go into these months understanding what each season is. And last week when we were talking about the seasons, and I asked you guys, what seasons do you guys think you're in? I think more than 90% of the people on the call, you guys all said that you're in your spring season, which means that you were in the season of planting, you were in the season of opportunity, and that season is so important. And I think that we are coming up on the last couple of weeks of that. Summer officially doesn't start till obviously like June 20th or so. So, we're in that season already. We're in the season of spring, summer because we've spent the last couple of months planting, which means now we got to focus on growth. We got to focus on protection. So, deep work versus shallow work is key here because you can't get caught up this summer doing shallow work. Shallow work does not lead to growth, only deep work does. So I want to explain to you guys the difference between deep work and shallow work. Because if you really want to grow this summer, you have to do the deep work. If you want to stay the same this summer, you're going to do shallow work. But shallow work is not a option for any of us because this year is the biggest year of our lives and we have to do deep work. So let's talk about it. At the top of your paper, today's training is going to be deep work versus shallow work. I got 5 points that I want to help you guys understand when it comes to the difference between the two. All right. So let's talk about difference number one. It's clarity versus convenience. Clarity versus convenience. All right. Deep work brings clarity. Shallow work is convenience. Let me explain. when it comes to deep work and personal development, it's about confronting truths, right? So it's about journaling your fears, asking the hard questions, right? Reflecting on your habits. This is important. So when you're doing deep work, when you want to see clarity, you want to confront your truths. So one of the truths is realizing, like, yo, it's June. Like, Nano, it's June. Tia, it's June. Troy, Cash, Wally, Isabel, Claudia, La Tierra, it's June. Vanity, it's June. It's confronting the truth and realizing, like, hey, it's time to lock in, Mike. And you have to make it a priority to understand, like, hey, I'm here and this summer is my summer. This is the summer for me to change my life. This is the summer that I'm going to lock in with myself 100%. I can't afford to have a lit summer. I can't afford to take days off this summer. It's confronting your truth when it comes to deep work. And you got to journal about it. You got to talk about it. You got to ask yourself the hard questions. Ask yourself, have I been intentional when it comes to my personal development this year? Have I been intentional when it comes to my mind, my body, and my soul? Do I just believe in God, or do I have a relationship with God this year? How much money have I invested this year? This is where you kind of want to, because remember, we're talking about deep work. We're not talking about surface level talk here. We're talking about deep work, because if you really want change in life, you got to go deep. You got to ask the deep questions. You got to ask yourself the questions that sometimes we avoid to ask ourselves because we don't want the answers to them, because the answers will hurt us and it'll make us look in the mirror. Those are the type of questions you want to ask yourself. So important. This is key right here. So when it comes to deep work versus shallow work, on the deep work side of it, you got to confront the truth. You got to ask yourself the hard questions, and you got to reflect on the habits that you've had this year that are holding you back. And we all know what they are. What have you done this year that's holding you back? What are your habits? What are those habits? Be aware of them. Remember, awareness is everything. Once you're aware of it, now you can change it. Now you can make a shift. But if you're not aware of them, then you'll never make the shift. And this is key. Now, here's the thing with shallow work. Shallow work, this is what most people do, because remember, shallow work is convenient. Shallow work is people who just throw on an audio, watch a motivational video, listen to a podcast, and they call that growth. That's not growth, fam. That's convenience. Just because you listen to a motivational video while you're on your way to work, that's not work. That's not deep work. That's not enough. You have to make a priority to go deep. Now, there's this prompt with ChatGPT that I did. I'm gonna have to look for it. I'm gonna be back. Instagram. I may have to actually send it to you guys because I think you guys should do this. This is so powerful. Let me see. Give me one sec. Listen to this. So I saw this thing on Instagram, and I went deep with this, and this was really life changing for me. So it was like this prompt that you send to ChatGPT, and it helps you uncover things. Listen to what you have to send it. I want to uncover the mask that I'm currently wearing, the roles I'm playing, and the illusions I'm believing. Please guide me through this process by asking me 10 reflective questions, one at a time, to help me recognize the stories I'm telling myself. After I answer the 10th question, please step into the role of my higher self and analyze my responses. Identify the top negative patterns present in my life and the top positive patterns I can embrace and grow and be direct, truthful. Tough love is welcome. Provide me with daily affirmations to support my growth, actionable steps to change my behaviors, and embody my authentic self, and message of encouragement from my higher self to celebrate how far I've come in the journey. Yo, I did this. Look at the first question it asks. Look at the first question it asks me. When you're alone and no one's watching, who are you really? No filters, go deep. Don't say what you wish you were. Say what's real. So that's the first question right away. But you have to be real with this. It says literally the first question was, when you're alone and no one's watching, who are you really? And then I went deep, boom. Number two, second question was, what mask do you wear often around others and why do you think you wear it? Bro, when I tell you guys, what part of yourself do you try your hardest to hide from others and what would happen if they saw it? This is obviously something that you got to do with yourself because this is obviously super private, I guess I would call it. You have to be honest with it though. And at the end, when you finish, when it answers you 10 questions, it gives you a whole breakdown of you. Let me copy and paste this real quick so I can send it to you guys here. This is going to be a good one. Get ready. Get ready for this one. You guys are going to really appreciate this one for sure. I just copied and pasted it. It wasn't said the best, honestly. It wasn't written the best, but if you guys can I just copied and pasted from somebody's comment on Instagram. Boom, copy. Let me see if it allows me to post all of it here. It's too big. I'm gonna have to do it in where could I post it that you guys could copy and paste it the best? Because right here it's saying it's too much. Can you send the prompt? Yeah, I'm trying to send the prompt. Okay, let me Telegram, right? Are you guys all on Are you guys all in my Telegram group? Posting chats. Telegram is great. Okay, let me put it on Telegram really quick. On my Nanos Keys to Success chat. Because I want you to have this one. Because this one will help you guys go deep, for real. Okay. Some people aren't in that chat. Okay. Okay, I just put it in my Nanos Keys to Success chat. Let me see. It lets me do a certain amount here. If somebody could go and can somebody drop it in here, please? That is long. Yeah. So this is one half of it. And then here's the other half of it. If you guys wanna wait, it finish at one time. Help. Where is help? One sec, guys. My Instagram is frozen. I'm not in that chat. I'm telling you. Ask me 10 reflective questions one at a time to help. Okay, so here. Okay, I'm sorry, guys. This was not the idea here today, but just drop the link. I don't think I could drop links here. That's the thing. Yeah, Yana, if you could just do it for me, please, I would appreciate that, honestly. And then you guys, for those that want to do it, oh yeah, I could drop it in there as well. My Instagram chat on Instagram. Yeah, that's a good one. Let me do it in there because everybody could just access it from there. Okay, one sec, guys. Sorry about this. I want you guys to do this because I did it and it was unbelievable. Chat GBT prompt. Okay, I just posted it in my story. Sorry, not in my story, in my Instagram bio. If you go on my Instagram bio, you can get the prompt right there. Put that into Chat GBT, and it's gonna start asking you the questions one at a time, and just watch what you get from it. And this will help a lot with the deep work, which is kind of what we're going here today. My brother, what's good, Santos? How you doing, G? Nice to see you here. So going into the topic today and what I've been covering so far. So deep work is very important. Deep work is key this summer. So remember, when it comes to this summer, you have to make sure that you, before we jump into it, we have to confront the truths. You have to confront your truths. You got to ask yourselves the hard questions, and you got to reflect on your bad habits. Let go of the shallow work. Shallow work is not going to help you. So that's point number one. Let's go to point number two. Deep work is inner construction. Shallow work is outer consumption. Write that down. This is important. Deep work is inner construction. Shallow work is outer consumption. I'm going to repeat it one more time. Deep work is inner construction. Shallow work is outer consumption. We got to keep this in mind because deep work builds, shallow work absorbs. So here's what deep work looks like, right? Deep work is somebody actually sitting down, designing a morning routine, setting standards for themselves, putting goals in place for the summer, having their weekly rhythm register printed out, working on it each and every single day. That's deep work. That's what deep work actually looks like. Somebody that, now real quick, who has their weekly rhythm register printed and ready to use for this week? We talked about this last week on the last call, right? One of our students, my sis Angela, she literally printed it right after the call. She printed 12 of them. She literally went on right after the call, literally 20 minutes later, and printed it. She said, I got 12 of them, bro. I'm committed. I've been playing small, and I'm ready to take my life to the next level. She went and printed it. You want to do deep work this summer? This will be able to help you with deep work right here. This will help you a ton. You got to do the deep work. Deep work is having a morning routine that you're going to follow every single day. That's deep work. Setting up your game plan on what you're going to do each and every single day. So deep work builds, shallow work absorbs. What does it look like for shallow work? Shallow work is just you jumping on Instagram and not reading any books, just absorbing all the content on Instagram, saving quotes that you never act on. How many of us have done that in the past? Yo, this is a fire quote. Let me save this. But you never act on it. This is a fire video. This is a great book recommendation that I got on Mornings with Nano, but you never bought the book. You never read the book. You've been telling yourself you're going to go to church, but you haven't gone to church. You've been telling yourself you're going to read the word more, but you haven't read the word. Exactly, Michael. You bought a book, but never read it. You're just absorbing all this content. You're just absorbing all this negativity from other people, but you're not taking any kind of action on it. You know the song, you know the lyrics to your favorite song, but you don't even know a verse in the Bible. How does that happen? You know all the lyrics to your favorite songs, but you can't tell me a verse in Proverbs. You can't tell me a verse from Psalms. You can't tell me a verse from any other things in the Bible. That's the difference between deep work and shallow work when it comes to personal development. You got to go deep. You have to go deep this summer. You have to build that relationship with God this summer. You can't be the person this summer that is just saying that you're going to do things and not do things. We had a training on this last week about walking it and talking it. A lot of people talk it, not enough people are walking it. So are you building yourself or are you just consuming others' content? We got to be the ones that wake this up now. We have to be the individuals that realize like, yo, you know what? Nano's right. I just been consuming content. I just been absorbing others people's content. But I haven't been building my own self. It's time, like Troy said, to go all in because deep work builds. Shallow work just absorbs. What do you want to do? Do you want to do deep work this summer or do you want to do shallow work this summer? Because believe it or not, most people are doing shallow work this summer. That's all they do. They just absorb content, absorb, 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 absorb. How many people are actually doing the deep work? How many people are actually waking up doing morning routines, building a relationship with God, fixing their habits, getting in the gym, following a weekly rhythm register? How many of us? Not many. If you were to go around and if you were to go friend by friend, if you were to actually do this experiment right here, and you were to go friend by friend, and you were to ask them, hey, show me your screen time. Let me see how much time you're spending on social media. And then they show you how much time they're spending on social media. And then you ask them, and how much time do you spend on you? The responses you're going to get are going to be scary because I've done it. I've done it. I actually did the experiment in the past because my mentor told me to do it. He said, you want me to show you that your friends are holding you back? Because I was offending my friends. I'm like, nah, no, my friends are good people. You know, how could my friends not, the fact that they don't read and stuff, how are they holding me back? You're like, let me show you. He said, tomorrow when you're with them, I want you to do this experiment. Make it seem like nothing. And I went to all my friends one by one. Yo, by curiosity, how much time do you guys spend on Instagram? Look, I'm spending like an hour or two on mine. How much? And they started showing, yo, it's crazy. Yo, I'm spending 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours. And then I asked them, I'm like, how much time do you guys spend on yourselves? And they looked at me with a confused look like, what do you mean, like, spend time with ourselves? I'm like how much time do you guys spend with you, like, focused on you and, like, deep work, working on yourself, reading a book in silence? They're like, bro, we don't do that. We just wake up, go to work, we chill, we do this. And then you sit there and you start to realize that most people around you aren't doing deep work. Most people spend time absorbing content. No one's really doing the building behind the scenes. Remember, one of my favorite quotes of all time says, you get praised in public for what you practice in private. You get praised in public for what you practice in private. How many of us are actually doing the deep work in private? This is important when no one's watching. So this summer is a deep work summer. Don't get caught up absorbing content. Don't be the person that I could look. Don't let me come to you. Like, imagine if I came to you right now. Could you tell me, look me in the face and tell me, Nano, I spend more time working on myself than I do scrolling on social media? Because if I go on your phone, it literally tells you exactly how much time you spend on social media for the week. And it'll give you the time. Like, yo, you're spending 15 hours a week, 10 hours a week. You better be spending just as much time, if not more, on yourself this summer. And that's the truth. That's the reality of it. You have to get off of the places that are distracting you. And I know social media is a big distraction for all of us. I can't sit here and spend 2 hours a day on social media and 0 hours on Nano. That's Nano absorbing and not building. And then the question starts to become, am I absorbing more than I build? And let's all be honest. Most people spend most of their lives absorbing. They don't have access to this information. So people woke up today and they're absorbing today. Absorbing, observing, absorbing, absorbing, absorbing. But nobody's building. And it's sad. And we have to be the examples. We have to be the examples. We got to be the examples that we want to see in the rest of the world. We got to do the inner work. We got to show people what inner work does to people. And it's not that social media is bad if used for the right purposes. Because what if you started something? Here's something that you could start. Yo, for the next 90 days, I'm going to go on a deep work journey all summer. And I'm going to document all of it so that you guys could watch me on social media. Let people absorb your content so that they could see the transformation that you have this summer in 90 days. Make a commitment. Announce it publicly. For the next 90 days, I'm going on a deep work summer run. And I'm gonna document it so you guys can see the transformation. Every day I'm gonna wake up at this time. I'm gonna read this book. I'm gonna journal. I'm gonna do this. Boom, 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 boom. Watch what happens 90 days. Your whole life will change. You know what will happen to every single person on this call if you guys for 90 days sat down and just locked in with you, and every day for a certain amount of time you just worked on yourself. Everything will change. This is important. So that's number two. Number two is inner construction versus outer consumption. Let's go to number three now. Deep work is identity work. Shallow work is image maintenance. Sheesh. Stay with me here. Deep work is identity work. Shallow work is image maintenance. So when it comes to deep work, it's about who you're becoming. You're working on your image. Shallow work is just you maintaining what you've already been. It's just going through the motions. You see, when you're working on deep work, you're working on your self-image. You're working on your self-talk. You're building discipline. You're working on your consistency. You're working on your emotional intelligence. You're developing yourself to be a better version of you. Most people are just doing image maintenance, which means they're just going through the motions to just stay where they are. That's not us. We don't do image maintenance here in this community. We do identity work here. We're working on our self-talk. We did a whole training on it last week, if I'm not mistaken, either last week or a week before that, where we did a whole training about this book, what to say when you talk to yourself, about the words that we are not allowed to be saying about ourselves. We do this. If you guys realize, every training correlates with each other. Look at the beauty of it. We're building our identity. We've sat here and we've identified what the best version of us looks like. We've identified it. We said, this is what the best version of me looks like. And we said, we need to work towards that. So we're doing the identity work. We're not here to do image maintenance. You can't do image maintenance, because here's what image maintenance does. Because it's shallow work, it leads to you losing yourself. You just lose yourself in the process. There's no growth there. You just get lost in the day-to-day. because you care for the validation. That's facts. Let's do the deep work this month. Let's do the identity work, the work that matters. You told yourself this was going to be your summer. Don't just say it to me. Make it happen. Appreciate you, my brother. Don't just say it to me. Actually do it. Do the deep work on yourself. It's needed. The best version of you is literally screaming at you to do it. Some of you, and if you guys got strong intuitions, some of you guys maybe already feel it. Your higher self is literally screaming at you. Like, yo, lock in. Get yourself right. This is not the time to be distracted. This is not the time for you to be taking time off. The best version of you is saying like, yo, I've been waiting for you for too long already. It's time. Let's go. Let's work. Let's fix that self-talk. Let's develop that discipline. Let's get in the gym. Let's read those books. Build that relationship with the Lord. Stop playing with your potential. We talked about this last week as well. The unexpressed purpose. How when it just lives inside of you, it's not growing, it's not being expressed. And if you keep it all inside of you, it just leads to you overthinking stuff. So this summer, we're doing identity work. This summer, we're doing inner construction. This summer, we have clarity. And the last thing that I want to talk to you guys about, the last point I want to make is with deep work is long-term transformation when shallow work is just short-term stimulation. There's a difference. And we need to understand this. We have to understand this. Deep work is long-term transformation. When I started my deep work journey years ago, I understood that it was going to take time, right? Because, for example, I played baseball. I always related everything back to baseball because baseball was a process for me, right? So I started playing baseball at the game. I started playing the game of baseball at the age of around 7 years old. And then I thought about it. I was like, yo, it wasn't until I was like 21, 22 years old. And I'm talking about where I was at my best, where I was a number one pitcher for a top Division I college. You know, I thought about it and I'm like, yo, from 7 to like the age of 21, 22, we're talking about what? 14 years? No, 14. Yeah, about 14 years, 15 years that it took for me to get to my best. And I could have, like, think about that. For where I was at my absolute best at the game of baseball, it took 15 years of hard work, dedication, giving it everything. And then I looked at my journey with deep work and where I was. I'm like, yo, I'm only like 4 years into this stuff, 5 years into this stuff. That's the truth. And look, it's 11:11. That's how true it is. What I'm telling you guys right now. It's 121. There's 121 people on this call. I wore number 21 in college. So this is how true everything I'm saying is. Guys, I'm only 5 years into my deep work. For real, for real. Maybe 6. I give it 6. Let's call it 6. Because Mornings with Nano, is 6-year anniversary is in June. So call it 6 years. I'm still very early on in my deep work journey. Just by a show of numbers, where are you guys in your deep work journey in terms of time? Obviously, we're on and off with it, but in terms of time, where are you in terms of it? Let me see where you guys are at in terms of deep work journey. I kind of want to get an idea of where you guys are at with it. Let me see. Where are we? 1 year, 5 years, couple 5, 2s. I see 6, 3 to 4 years, 5 years. 1 year, 5 years on and off, slacking. I feel you. It happens. Months, look at that. 6 months. Just started this year. Wow, Christian, I'm excited for you. Since 2019, 6 years. I love that. I started in 2020, about a solid 2 years into my deep work. 6, 7 years for sure, Jasmine. 4 years, 2021, 4 years. Damn, so a lot of you guys got some good. So, but you know what's funny? You know, we think about it and we haven't even, yeah, Christian, you can ask a question. We think about it and we're still very early on into it. Think about it in school terms, right? Most of us call it 5 years in. You know, 5 years in, we're in fifth grade, if you call it what it is, right? If we think about it in school terms. So we're only in the fifth grade right now for a lot of us. You know, for the most part, if we were to put like an average of where everybody is, we're still in elementary school. When it comes to deep work process, like the process of life, we're still in elementary school. Most of us haven't even hit middle school yet. We're not even in high school or college yet. This is something like it's gonna take time. You know, this deep work thing is for life. You know, we're gonna be 60 doing deep work type thing. So give yourself grace as well. One thing I heard before, self-work is not like a college degree. It's not something you graduate and receive an award of accomplishment from. It's constant work. Facts, K. That's 100% true. That's 100%. We're gonna be working on ourselves for years to come. It's a whole lifestyle. It's unending, the process. I heard once that you are your biggest project. You are. Somebody says, so I'm in the seventh grade then. Yeah. I'm in the sixth grade. I just got to middle school. Dude, but the reason why I say that is I want you to think about who you were. Like, if you think about it in school terms, think about the person that you was during that process of school. Like, you're only in the sixth grade. You're only in middle school now. Think about how much more you have to grow. Think about you in high school. Think about you in college. Think about you going and getting your master's and your doctorate. And, you know, think about all of that. Think about that. 60 and still doing mornings with Nano for sure. Mornings with Nano's never stopping. I'm always gonna be doing mornings with Nano. This is a lifestyle for me. I can't even imagine my life without mornings with Nano, to be real. There's levels to this, guys, and we have to understand that. I love that motto, citizens. If you spent 12 years in school, you can spend 12 years working on yourself. And that's so true. That is so, so true. Mornings with Nano retirement home. Facts. All of us old as hell, just giving nuggets to each other. At that point, we'll just be enjoying like the at that point we'll just be like showing pictures of like life that we lived and how it all happened. How can I translate this to get out of my way in life and my career? I've been my worst enemy mentally. How can you translate what exactly, Christian? Because you said, how can I translate this to get out of my way in my career? What are you trying to translate? Like this training or like just in general? Mornings with Nano retreat. Only if you knew. I actually have a call on Wednesday with somebody working on something. I'm not gonna say anything because I don't wanna put any false hopes yet, but just know that there is something in the works. I have a call on Wednesday. So let me work. Let me cook. Let me cook. I actually booked it right before this call, which is funny you say that. So for Christian, so how can I translate this to get out of my way in my life career? So Christian, the thing with life is, and I can tell you right now, we are all our worst enemies, including I can tell you right now, you're not alone. Right? Is Christian alone on this call? Can we let Christian know he's not alone? Like, yo, he's not alone. Like, who else on this call is their own worst enemy? Put a 2 in the chat if you're also your own worst enemy. Let's just show Christian he's not the only one, right? Because let me throw some twos in there to let you know you're not alone, bro. So this is a battle that we all go through. We are all each other's worst enemies. the best way to basically overcome that enemy is you have to do what I'm talking about on this call. You have to do the deep work. You have to do the deep work. You gotta have time on a day-to-day basis, Christian, where you're spending time with Christian. Where, let's say, for example, every day you wake up and let's say from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m., that's Christian's time. That's the time that Christian is working on himself. He's reading a book, he's meditating, he's reading the Bible, he's in the gym. Okay, he's listening to podcasts on your way to work, on your way home from work, right? You're listening to audios and podcasts, you're seeking mentorship. You got to find who it is that the best version of Christian is and start working every day to become that version of you. Because right now, what happens, Christian, is you're giving too much energy and too much focus to the enemy of you, your worst enemy, which is the undisciplined one, the not consistent one. You're giving more energy to that person. You need to give energy to the future version of Christian, the disciplined version of Christian, the consistent version of Christian, the one that's working hard every single day on himself and doesn't make excuses and is doing whatever it takes. Give more energy to the person that you want to become and stop giving energy to the person that you once were. That's the key, bro. Once you could recognize that and then go to work on it every day, because it's one thing to recognize it, is another thing to work on it then. Because we can all recognize, like you just realized, every single person on the call, we all recognize that we are our own worst enemies. But it's one thing to recognize it, is another thing to work on it now. We got to work on it now, which means waking up every day and doing the deep work. That's what this whole call is about. That's what this whole call is about. We started this call when we talked about clarity, understanding the clarity. We talked about number 2, it's inner construction versus outer consumption. We talked about putting in the identity work. The identity work is so key. So many people don't put in the identity work. And then what I was saying, the last one was long-term transformation versus the short-term stimulation. If you understand, like, deep work really changes the trajectory of your life if you do it over months and years. The thing is, Christian, is that a lot of people are doing the shallow work, and maybe that's what you've been doing, bro. And look, I could tell you that because I've been the person. When you are your own worst enemy, is because you're doing more shallow work than deep work, and that's the truth. That is the reality of the situation. When I was my own worst enemy, it was because there was more time being spent doing shallow work than there was doing deep work. And the shallow work is, like I've been saying, is just work that's not intentional. There's no intention behind it. I'm not growing every day. I'm not in the gym. I'm not reading the word. I'm not doing those things. And that's happening for weeks at a time. And then weeks turn into months. Months could even turn into years. So yeah, number 4 was long-term transformation versus short-term stimulation. Deep work is long-term transformation. Shallow work is short-term stimulation. Shallow work just gives you the quick dopamine hit. And that's it. If you really want to do this the right way, like I'm telling you guys, you have to lock in this summer. This is the summer for you to put yourself in a position to change your whole life. But you got to commit to the deep work. That's what most people run away from. Because understand, the shallow work is convenient. Shallow work is convenient nowadays because we have so many distractions. One of my favorite quotes of all time: starve your distractions, feed your focus. You know how we've been saying starving summer? Starving summer also means starving your distractions. You got to starve those distractions. Put all your energy, all your time, all your focus into the deep work with you. If you did that this summer, everything will shift for you. Your higher self is telling you, lock in this summer. It is. It is. I'm telling you. Your higher self is telling you, yo, I need you to lock in this summer. Do you still have time? Oh my God, you have all the time in the world. You could start today. Everything could change for you today. My life changed in 90 days. You just have to lock in, and you got to stop contemplating. You got to stop overthinking and just lock in. So those are the 4 differences between deep work and shallow work. I'll repeat them one more time and then we'll wrap up today's call. Here are the 4 differences, right? Number 1, we said it was clarity. Deep work brings clarity. Shallow work brings convenience. That's the difference between that. We said number 2, deep work is inner construction, while shallow work is outer consumption. And that's key. We said number 3 was deep work is identity work, while shallow work is image maintenance. And then last but not least, number 4 is deep work is long-term transformation, while shallow work is short-term stimulation. This summer is all about the inner work. That's what it's all about. It's all about the inner work this summer. Lock in with yourself this summer. Watch how much your life changes this summer. All right, guys. So with that being said, if you're ready to lock in this summer, can everybody type lock in the chat for me? If everybody's ready to lock in. If everybody's ready to lock in. Yes, one more time from the top. Number 1, deep work brings clarity. Shallow work is convenient. All right. Number 2 was inner construction. Sorry, deep work is inner construction, while shallow work is outer consumption. We said number 3 was deep work is identity work. Shallow work is image maintenance. And then last but not least, number 4 is deep work is long-term transformation, while shallow work is short-term stimulation. Your birthday's coming up, Nano. My birthday was yesterday, actually. Thank you, though. We celebrated all weekend. We was lit all weekend, so it was awesome. But it's good to see so many people locked in, to be real. I love to see this. Now, remember, it's one thing to say it. It's another thing to do it. I pray that every single one of you really lock in this summer because I want to see you guys transform. Thank you, TT. Appreciate you. I want to see everybody transform. I want to see your whole lives transform. I don't want to see you guys stay the same. I want to see you guys operating from the best version of yourselves, from the higher version of yourselves. Because, man, let me tell you guys, I need cars and like rooms to stay at when I go to different countries and cities. And you guys are my family, so I need different Rolls Royces and I need nice mansions to stay in. I want good dinners, nice steak dinners every time I hit y'all cities. You know, I need that. Come on, fam. Y'all can't leave me behind. We need that in the family. I want to be able to go to your city and, here's the keys to the Rolls Royce, Nano. Take it. It's yours. Let me take you to a nice steak dinner on me. I love free dinners, by the way. So steak dinners on you, Tia, with the mash and the asparagus on the side. But why can we do that? Because we have more than enough. I'm probably gonna be showing up to your restaurant at that point. That's the beauty of it. You know what? Let's take a trip to the Maldives, bro, on my jet. Can't wait for that. I cannot wait for that. Trust me. But the only way we're gonna get that, Kyrie, the only way we're gonna be able to do that, the only way you're gonna let me borrow the Maybach is if you do that deep work, bro. I need you to do that deep work for these next couple of years, because come on, bro. If you don't do the deep work, you can't let me hold the Maybach, bro. I'll let you drive the Lambo. Gabe, I feel you, but we got to do the deep work, bro. I can't wait for you to lend me that Lambo. And I know that's coming for sure, but we got to do the deep work in order for us to do that. Isa cooking. Isa's Dominican too, so I know she's going to be cooking that fire. All right, guys. But with that being said, I appreciate you guys. I hope you guys were able to get value from this call. Like I said, the deep work is the key all summer. That's the key. All summer, deep work is the key. Take this time to reflect, figure out what's the next step for you guys. What are you guys going to do? Print out those weekly rhythm registers, set up those morning routines, make a decision. It's literally the first week of June. Let's lock in. Let's do what's required. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, please subscribe. If you haven't liked this video, like this video. If you haven't sent this to somebody, send it to somebody that you feel like needs to hear today's message. And, with that being said, I hope you guys have a beautiful rest of your days. Let's have a very intentional week this week. Let's start the week of June, the first week of June. Let's start it very intentionally so that we can make sure that we have a great month. All right. So I'm going to do a little prayer for us like I always do, and we'll wrap it up right there. Quick prayer, and we'll end there. Father God, just want to say thank you so much on behalf of the whole entire community for allowing us to wake up on this beautiful Monday morning. We feel so good. It's a new week. It's a new month. It's a new day. And it's a new opportunity for us to grow to be better versions of ourselves. We understand the sacrifices we got to make this summer in order for us to grow closer to you, Father, and we're going to do them. We ask, Father, that you give us the strength this summer to show up each and every single day, regardless of the circumstances. We ask, God, that you also clear the path for us. Clear the path for us, and anything that is not in alignment with you, God, anything that's negative, anything that is not going to help us serve our purpose, that you remove it from our path, and that you continue to heal us, and that you continue to guide us each and every single day with the right wisdom, with the strength, with the protection that we need to continue to move forward, Father. We are so grateful because we get to serve you, Father, and more importantly, we're building the kingdom each and every single day, and we're going to be the example this summer that we want to see in the rest of the world. So keep pouring into us, Father. We're committed to you. I know that you're committed to us. We love you. We appreciate you. Let's have a productive week. And in your name we pray. Amen. 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 All right, guys, we're locked in. God is locked in with us, and we're ready to go. So I keep praying for you guys, and God is going to give us all the strength He's going to provide this summer. All you got to do is just show up for yourself. If you show up for yourself, God will show up for you. And that's the reality of the situation. He's clearing the path for us, and He's going to do whatever it takes. So I love y'all. I appreciate you guys. Thank you guys so much for all the birthday wishes and for showing up today. I hope you guys have a beautiful day, and I'll see you guys tomorrow, same time. God bless. Thank you.